What is going on, you guys? Today we are making keto loaded radishes. So if you're like me and you're missing potatoes as a side, this is a great replacement other than your regular fried radishes. I do have a video for that as well, which you can also check out. But this is going to be loaded radishes, so this is going to be just like having loaded potatoes, and you're not even really going to tell that much of a difference. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, if you are new here and you're into keto or low carb recipes, then please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can be updated every time we drop a video. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, as that does help out my channel. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright, so here I have 1 pound of radishes. This is a 16-ounce bag. You can also get the bunches, but I really like to buy them in the bag so I don't have to deal with ripping them off the vines and all that. So this is much easier. So what we're going to do first is we've already rinsed them. So now we're going to cut them up into quarters. You can also slice them. I slice them for other things, but for loaded radishes, I really like to cut them in quarters. So you're going to cut the ends off and then just slice them twice to cut them in quarter pieces. And that is what our first step is. So let's go ahead and get all of these cut up, and then we'll continue to the next step. Alright guys, so now we have all of our radishes cut up into quarters. We're just going to place them back into this bowl. So now we're going to get our skillet, put it on medium-high heat, and once it's all warmed up, you're going to add about a tablespoon or so of some olive oil to your pan and let that sit for a few minutes to get nice and hot, and then we can go ahead and add the radishes into the pan. Alright guys, so let's add our radishes to our pan now that it's nice and hot, and we're just going to let them cook for a little bit. Radishes, they are crispy and they're a little peppery when they're eaten raw, but when you cook them, they actually lose that peppery taste and they pretty much take on whatever flavor you give them. And believe it or not, they get tender just like potatoes. So the longer you cook them, the more tender they're going to be. Obviously, you don't want them mushy, so I normally cook them about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how many that there are in the pan. And just keep an eye on it. When they're fork tender, they're ready, and that's pretty much it. So once that's done, your radishes are done, and they're going to have the texture like potatoes. And then the great thing is, whatever flavor you give it, that's how it's going to taste. You're not going to taste radishes underneath. So we're going to let this sit for a while, and then we'll go ahead and add some seasonings to this. Alright, and so you're going to do salt and pepper to taste, so it's just to your liking. So first go ahead and make sure that you add in some salt and pepper to your radishes. Okay, and now we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of ground paprika. That's just regular paprika, not smoked paprika. And just kind of mix it up, of course, to make sure it gets all over the radishes. And then what I like to do with my loaded radish potatoes, this is optional, but you don't have to, but it does taste really good with it, is I add in some ranch seasoning. And you can either make your own ranch seasoning or use a packet, whatever you want to use that fits into your macros, that's what you can use. But what I'm using here is 1 tablespoon of ranch seasoning. It's going to give it a light ranch flavor, and I think ranch goes really well with it. So if you've never tried that, go ahead and give it a try and let me know what you think. But I think it tastes really good, and it gives the radishes even more flavor. So go ahead, and once you get your seasonings in here, that's pretty much all we're going to add in for seasonings. And then we're just going to let it cook, and like I said, about 10 to 15 minutes until they are fork tender. Alright, so what we're going to do is put our loaded radishes into one of these 4-ounce ramekins. And I do have 2 of these 4-ounce ramekins for this recipe, because this recipe will fill 2 of these 4-ounce ramekins just perfectly. So 1 bag of these radishes, if you want to make loaded potatoes, is perfect for 2 people. And not everybody in my house eats keto, so 2 of us are definitely going to be eating. The first thing you want to do is just start filling up your ramekin with your potatoes, well, your radishes. And then of course make sure you leave a little bit room on top for some toppings. And we are going to, first thing we're going to do is we're only going to add in some cheese to the top. I would say this is maybe about 2 tablespoons of cheese, but it is going to depend on how much cheese you want. But 2 tablespoons I think is enough to fill this 4-ounce ramekin, you know, so just, it's to your liking. And then once we have this topped with cheese, before we put any other toppings on, we're just going to pop it in the air fryer. Like I said, you can heat it up any way that you want, but these are, I like how they come out in the air fryer. So I'm going to show you today in this video how to do it in the air fryer. And if you have these ramekins, they are oven safe. What I normally do is I set my air fryer to 360 and I just put it in for 2 minutes. It's also going to depend on the air fryer and how well your air fryer heats up and the kind that you have. But for mine, 2 minutes is plenty. And I probably could have just put it on the bottom tray or even put it in for a minute. Because it did cook the cheese a little bit on top. So last time I made them, they did not come out like that, so you could probably actually put them in for a minute or put them, you know, in the middle rack. But it's okay with me. So now I'm gonna just top it with some bacon bits, and I will leave all the ingredients in the description below. But I am going to top it also with some green onion, and then a little bit of chives. Alright, and that is pretty much it, guys. We're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of sour cream to this to complete the loaded radishes. You can top it any way that you want, but this is the way I like to eat mine. And I also want to say thank you for watching, and I'm not really sure what happened to the lighting in this video, so I'm sorry about that, but I will see you on the next video. Let me know how you like this if you try it.